What up, what up, what up? It is another episode of the Shark Cove Esports with Emrick. I'm your host, Emrick, of course. And we're going to go over, this might not be a normal Friday night stream. It looks like there's not as many people that are going to be involved in this one. And, quite frankly, we don't have the LPL or the LCK to talk about. So, added to the fact that we covered the LCS yesterday, kind of limits what we have to talk about. But we will talk about a couple of things. I don't have the projections done. We're going to focus on some of the betting lines, some of the matchups. What did we learn today? What are we going to be looking at for tomorrow? So feel free to interact with the chat. I think Gooks will be on at some point. Maybe somebody else will drop in. I don't know. I don't know how long we're going to be live, but let's go ahead and, just jump right into it. So we had a pretty interesting slate today. Well, I guess it's really not. But this is just kind of what we get when it comes to the LEC. It's a low-scoring affair. A lot of unders are hit. Some low-quality gameplay to start it off. Some throws. And in the end, it's always G2. Unfortunately, it was not Fnatic for many people. Saved my ass a little bit, but that's okay. That's all right. Fucking Astralis. That's right, man. What a team they are. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these games and initially here with this Astralis SK, our analysis yesterday was that both of these teams are just bad. Like, they're not good teams. And that was evident in this game. This game was not a pretty one. The real difference was kind of like this Oriana hitting just a fantastic shockwave at one point, really turning the game. I don't know. Like, this was a weird game. Astralis was favorite, or not Astralis was not. I'm sorry. SK was the favorite coming in, not by much. Based off of like the first minute or two of gameplay, the odds swung to SK at like plus 150. I think even got up to like plus 200 at some point. So it's this weird line that you walk when you're trying to live bet these games and they're still in draft and you're watching an API and you don't want it to, you don't want to ruin your viewing experience, but you want to get some type of edge and you can't do that live betting and watching the game live without watching the API. But it's something that you can do. I think we're going to start a channel in the esports department Discord that's just going to go over that. It's going to be spoilers all over the place. So we're not posting that in the main channel during games for people that have no interest in that. But moving on from that game, we had this game with Rogue and Excel. And, at first I thought we were going to see the, Enchanter top situation. At first, we were talking, it looked like, they were just going to go with a Sona support as she's normally played. But then when Leona came into the mix, it was like, man, it's the strategy that's taking, solo queue by storm. But it wasn't that. It wasn't that at all. It was, in fact, a Sona mid, which I guess the coach on XL came out and said that they had beaten several teams in scrims with this. And so this wasn't something that they just came up with. This was something that they had planned. This is something that they had practiced and had been very successful. And for like a brief moment in time, it looked like they might have the advantage in this game, but then it was just blown right open. This game only went 22 minutes and 46 seconds. It was a stomp. And, if you decided to play Rogue and you decided to pay for them, you weren't feeling pretty good, as I saw in quite a few cash game, like head-to-head lineups. So good for me, bad for them. I didn't have a lot of Rogue, but, whatever. Moving on to this game, this Vitality Misfits game, which some were pegging is going to be a rather high score, bloody game, and I just didn't really see it. It almost kind of evolved into that as Misfits was able to defend their base when Vitality stayed just a little bit too long. But the combo of Diana and Yasuo, Perks just outplaying VTO, and just, Misfits' inability to close out games sometimes, close out games around Barons, came to bite them. Vitality was the huge favorite here, justifiably. They came out and took care of what they needed to, and so that was that game. Then we got into the game that was, I called it yesterday. I thought it was going to be the game that broke the slate, and it almost did. It didn't. It was the highest scoring, but G2 and BDS. But I thought in a lot of ways that BDS was going to not show up for this game, and maybe Adam didn't for the first 10 or 15 minutes. But, look, they played the rest of the map, given the situation that happened on the top side, very, very well. They were still part of that game. It's just, unfortunately, that Aurelia was never able to really have any type of impact on the game, just based on what happened at the beginning, and the build that, Adam needed to build on her to limit anything else from happening. Really, really, if you're building tank Aurelia, why'd you pick Aurelia in the first place? And obviously didn't think that he'd be 0-2 in, the first minute and down 20-0 in CS. Then finally, Fnatic and Mad Lion, we asked the question yesterday, are the Mad Lions good? And, at first this draft looks super spicy. You got a Zeri. But then, it took a turn. You got the Zeri, but you gave up the Aphelios Thresh. Then you gave up, a Zin and a Victor. And, man, just so many power picks here. Picking the Renekton. Reeker, obviously, just does not look comfortable on it. And that makes sense. While he's played in the mid lane in certain situations, I'm sure that all mid laners are not 100% well-versed as some top laners who played it quite a bit are. And it just, fell behind. And this game was just, again, a brief moment where you thought maybe Matt could pull it off. Maybe Eloy could come through. Maybe he could get a pentakill, at that one dragon fight. But alas, came up short. Fnatic was able to end. People still have this perception that Fnatic is a bloody team, but I think it is slowly going away. They have not been at all in this split. This team has played a lot more measured, a lot more composed. The only game where they really had a high kill total with kill participation to go with it was against Misfits. And that wasn't so much just how they were playing. It's how the Misfits were playing them and some of the picks that they were able to find that accelerated that kill total. But even that game, when they were able to close it out, they went ahead and closed it out. As a result, we didn't get a groundbreaking score or slate breaking scores in that particular game, but I do think it was still the highest on that slate. But you're not seeing those mid 20 totals that you're used to from Fnatic, and I just don't think that you should reasonably expect to throughout the entirety of this split. Now, I know a lot of people might have played Fnatic because they were playing the Mad Lions, and I think that's a completely justifiable way to go, as they're just typically a team that gives up a lot of kills when they are losing. This particular game, they got finished a little quicker. So, what we have tomorrow in the LEC is we've got Misfits and SK Gaming. This one's the first one on the slate. This one just off the top of my head here, and I, again, have not done projections, so I haven't done totals, but looking at this, 26.5, Misfits minus 190, a 6.5 kill spread team, without looking at anything that's happened just in their last game. I guess it's not really going to change anything. Let's take a look here. Misfits in their wins. It looks like they're covering that spread about half the time. SK in their losses looks like they're giving up those kills. Yeah, thanks, Kev. So, yeah, I think I like the Misfits here. I like them at minus 190. I wouldn't go heavy on that. I think this is going to be one that, I'll probably wait and see what the draft is and see if we can get some type of advantage in the early part of the game. Maybe it's a situation where, for whatever, maybe SK comes out and gets a first blood. Maybe SK comes out and is able to get a small lead in the first couple of minutes and swing those odds from 190 maybe to minus 150. This is absolutely a game that Misfits should win. I feel good about the kill spread, and I'm probably taking the under in this one. I just don't think you need to think too much about it. Misfits coming off of a disappointing loss are going to play against SK, who, for all the things that happened today, they're probably feeling pretty good about themselves, but they're not a very good team. We've seen it time and time again. And I think, the one win that they have is against the Mad Lions, who probably aren't a very good team right now and maybe just have no idea who they are or the identity that they have as a team. And they're trying to figure that out. So moving on to the next game, we've got BDS here, who looked a lot better against Mad Lions. I'm going to be, man, this one, I think I'm going to play a little bit of BDS in DFS, and I think I'm probably going to bet them here at plus 200. It's really close on that line where it's a best of one. I want to, bet that. I think this is more the Mad Lions haven't looked fantastic. BDS is steadily improving. And, I dogged on them a lot yesterday. I still don't think super highly of them. However, they did play good competition, and they played decent given everything that happened. As such, I think that you can probably get them at super low ownership against the Mad Lions. I think you can get pretty good odds here at plus 200. This is another one that, depending on the draft, you may be able to see this kind of sway one way or the other. Mad Lions have been absolutely fantastic at, getting first bloods and getting an early advantage. They didn't do it today, but throughout the split, they have been good at doing that. So if you see an advantageous draft from BDS and you feel like their champion set is easier to pilot, or it's a team composition that's going to beat the Mad Lions, then, that's a situation where I want to go ahead and I want to bet that, because these odds are going to go out of control. At one point, for example, XL was plus 1100, and you were able to, if you were paying attention to it as it swayed, you were able to get XL and Rogue at different points within the first 10 minutes of the game, and really actually middle of the book. So, it is what it is there. But let's take a look. In terms of the kill spread, again, I think if you're going to take BDS, I don't necessarily know if I want the spread. I think if Mad Lions do win this game, they're going to win this game, and they're going to win it in a pretty dominant fashion. We've seen BDS kind of roll over and just give up these big games. So if you're not betting BDS to win, I don't think that I want to bet the spread. And if you're going to bet them to win, why would you bet the spread? It's added on there, but you're getting plus 200 versus minus 115. I'm not sure about the over under right now. Let's take a look and see what we've got after that. We've got Vitality and Astralis. Vitality and Astralis, look, I don't think you can, it's plus 400. I'm not going to hate it if you take a stab at it, but realistically, we want a team that has some semblance of identity, knowing what they need to do with a lead. And Astralis look lost. Their entire split has been playing from behind, capitalizing on these objective bounties to get them back into the games, to allow them to outlast. And, they haven't even been successful in doing that. And they look lost today when they didn't have that. They didn't know what to do with a lead. And against a team like Vitality, even if they're able to get to a point where they're in the lead, I don't see this being a worthwhile bet at plus 400. I'll probably take Vitality, minus 110. I'll probably take the under. I think this game probably more than likely looks like a 16-4, 15-4, 18-6 type of game, and just is steadily under that 25.5. I don't see any other value. You can just see it. Vitality's heavily favored here, and rightfully so. The last game, not the last game on the slate, but we have got Fnatic and XL. Yeah, I guess they're plus 250. That's kind of the number. That's the sweet spot. XL's got to get a win here or there, but Fnatic look good. XL still looks kind of lost. I think this team has looked worse with Vicky than they did previous to that. And, it could be just a byproduct of who they're playing. They did play Rogue today, and, as a result, that they're probably not going to look as good. But I don't think that they have a wonderful chance at winning this game. But if they can somehow take an advantage through the bot lane, get Patrick fed, Marcoon has a pop-off game, I can see them beating Fnatic. We have seen Fnatic have some struggles this split, so I wouldn't be surprised in that sense. But I probably feel like the 26.5 is a spot where I want to take the under, and that's kind of where you're paying a little bit extra for. One of the things that XL has been good at throughout the split is getting first bloods. So a plus 105 for XL here is a spot that I'm probably going to attack as well with a small wager. The last game of the day, the one that makes the most sense to probably have one side or the other in DFS is going to be Rogue and G2. Rogue, the justifiable, legitimate favorite here at minus 200. I think G2 has looked better since that week 1. But, there were even points in this BDS game where I was kind of concerned. And I just think against a better team like Rogue, they're going to have an issue. This Rogue team is probably going to lose a game or two this split. But I don't know if it's going to be this week. I think they're going to go through this first half of the split undefeated. They're going to win this game. I like it with the kind of the minus 5.5 there. And I'm probably leaning towards initial thought maybe the over, but I don't know if that's the right play. So I would hold off on that, take a look at it. And, it's one of those things like we've seen the two of these teams in their previous iterations play some absolute fiestas, but I don't necessarily know if that's going to happen with this iteration of them. When G2 have lost, they have given up a lot of kills, but they've also kind of rolled over in some of the games. When we look at what they've done in their losses, I mean, like 12, 15. So they've just gotten beat really badly. And both of those are under totals. All of Rogue's games, with the exception of the game against the Mad Lions, have gone under that number. So I think that's probably a pretty safe under to bet. Wouldn't be surprised if this is a super high scoring game. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, look, okay, cool. Yeah, being negative 200, they're 0-0 against this team, actually. This team versus this team are 0-0. There's only two pieces of this G2 team that were there for, a bulk of those. And, the pieces that have replaced them are arguably better in some regards, but some arguably worse. I don't know. You can go ahead and bet G2. I'm probably going to bet the under and just let it roll from there. But hey, plus 150, I don't hate it. You're not going to get plus 150 on G2 many times this season. So this could be one of your last opportunities to do that if they continue to roll, and especially if you're right here, because they're probably going to be favored in every game there on out. So looking at, let's close that. Looking at like how teams are priced. Again, I don't have the projections uploaded. I will say a giant fuck you to Fantasy Labs customer support for refusing to add Flacked, Targamas, and Unforgiven because nobody does projections for them. Told them I'd do projections for them. I said it's not that hard to add. Well, why don't you just add these 3 players that I've asked for several times? You did it 2 weeks ago, but Michael from customer support, fuck you. Yeah. Okay, Kevin. We'll see. You might have your time tomorrow. You might get real quiet at the end of it. I don't know. We'll see. When we're looking at the way that these teams are priced, no surprise, Vitality is the most expensive, at least in the top lane. I don't want any part of Wonder, who started off at the beginning of this split scoring some massive points, but has just been kind of relegated to like Gragas duty. This guy, he's talented, but like he's just played the weak side. This FNC is playing way more calculated, and I don't necessarily know if everybody's projections are going to indicate that, because a lot of his peripherals are still going to show him being a high scoring guy. But I don't think that that's the spot to go. So if you are going to play FNC, I don't know if I want Wonder in my stack now. Surely, because I've advised you on this, he's going to absolutely go nuts tomorrow. But I'm not crazy about the champions he's been playing, the situations that he's been put in, or paying that price at 6,800. So yeah, look, hey, Western style disco, like let's do it, Western style. I'm in the advantage there. Send him a Gugs email. I might. I got the drunk intern to score out the COD slate that they had a couple of things that they needed to add. I sent a request in. The drunk intern said, just, you need to chill, blah, blah, blah. I tagged Gugs in it. Immediately after Gugs got involved, boom, it was paid out. It was accurate. And Jay Butler from the Discord, like 1st through 20th in the COD the COD big GPP. So man, that guy crushed it. Imagine like winning like 6K on a 2K to first tournament, something like that. I don't know how much he won, but it was a good day for him. It's all right day for me. Over in the jungle, same type of situation. FNC, Vitality, both really high priced. Same thing in the mid. Carsey's a little cheaper because he's been absolutely atrocious. And then, Lebrov, I can't imagine anybody ever wanting to pay 6,000 for a Vitality Lebrov support. Maybe Kev will. I'm sure Kev's a huge Lebrov fan. But looking through these, just like where you're going to want to probably attack, who's going to be popular. I think Misfits are going to be super popular. I mean, like mid-priced doesn't make a ton of sense to me. So Misfits are going to be super easy to stack with other teams. I think, whether you want Rogue or G2, both of those look like they're going to be easy to stack. I don't know. Do you want to play Vitality? If you do, you can play Vitality and G2, I'm sure, pretty easily. I'm sure you can play Vitality and Misfits relatively easily. And then BDS, I think is another one that you can go ahead and take a look at. So, that's kind of where we're at with this LEC slate. It was mentioned in the chat. King J said it. You're picking from Mad, G2, Fnatic, and Rogue. Some combination, and maybe sometimes Misfits. You're picking those 5 teams. Pick 2 and just roll with it. And that's just how you play the LEC. It's not super exciting, but when you think about the other leagues and the way that the formats are, if the LCK played, 5-game slates 2-3 times a week, or 2 times a week, you'd probably be playing the same teams over and over. You'd see the same 2 teams being the highest scoring teams. You'd be playing Gen G right now, and then you'd be pairing them with somebody else, or you'd be pairing T1, Gen G, or one of these top teams with somebody else. But because they're mixed up and spread out during the week with different teams from the LPL, it just feels like there's a little bit more variety there. But all of the leagues are the same. They're top heavy. There are a handful of teams that play super fast, and those are the teams that you want in your DFS lineups. Getting a little bit too cute, playing too many dogs, look, you can play the dogs, and that's okay. Like, believe me, you're going to win some GPPs that way. When there are 2 dogs that win, you want to have those 2 dogs. But I will tell you, not every single slate is going to have 2 dogs that win, especially in the LEC. That has always been kind of a chalk league. But as we go into this like LCS slate, which has similar contests, I don't know why they nerfed them the way that they did. We filled the 333, all 70 people. Now we've got a 32-person 180. Instead of 10K to first, now we're at 3K to first. Like, I applaud them that they're coming up with things that aren't 2, 5, and 10 and going with like a 3K to first. But I just don't know if Saturday, when there's no hockey and no football and no college football going on, is the wisest decision. But hey, like, look, their algorithms probably know better than I do. Yeah, in a lot of ways, I think Alfari's fine. But yeah, his impact that he has on the team and the team fights, his impact that he has on the team overall is definitely overstated, and his price for fantasy is wildly overstated. When he's on a team like when he was with, like, let's say, like Team Liquid in the LCS, I think his impact when they wanted to play through him was a little bit larger, just because there really weren't a lot of good top laners in the LCS last year, maybe even this year. I'd have to look through it, probably not. And so he could be more advantageous, but like the LEC this year in terms of top laners is pretty strong. We can go back and take a look at this. While I think he's the best in lane, Wonder, Arma, like, would you not take some of these guys on your team above Alfari? I wouldn't mind Broken Blade. I wouldn't mind Odo or Arma or Wonder. Even Genax had a fantastic game, but I wouldn't take Genax over Alfari. But it's just not clear cut that far above everybody else in the LEC. Yeah, it felt super early. So make sure that you are, if you want to get in that GPP. Like last week, I woke up and the GPP was closed. It was filled. So reserve it tonight if you want to get into it. Yeah, of course they of course they do. Okay, I don't hate that, man. Gugs needs a link to join the stream. Why? Oh, okay, I got you. Here we go. Give me a second, guys. Here. Thing. You know, let me check something here. I'm not hearing that. Let's check something. Waiting on Gugs here. Oh, I got it. Maybe these headphones aren't working. Sick. You got to hook up the headphones. That's what you got to do. Sweet. Awesome. All right. Well, we got the headphones on. Some technical difficulties. We've got Gugs in his snowy. Oh man, in his snowy backyard here.
Somebody, hold on. Somebody grab my earbuds.
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, I'd rather have Whippo, especially from a fantasy perspective. He's been fantastic for fantasy just this year, last year. He's the cog that makes the team go. We've got Gugs in. Like I said, no shirts are needed today. Gugs is here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. Long day. Long day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Long day of what?
Just everything. Everything. Had CS:GO from the morning to tennis to. It's a lot of stuff going on today.
Yeah, man, your CS:GO was looking good for 1.5 games.
Yeah. Well, Nip ended up really coming back. That was probably the end of that. And then I guess if Big didn't go off, I think it would have been okay. Searson had like a monster day or something. It was like 20-1 in like round 3 or map 3. It was insane. So yeah, I was up near the top for a while. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. That was kind of like a free ticket anyways. It was one of those like winner take all tickets.
Gotcha.
So
all right. Well, so I already went through the LEC. We are on to the LCS. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. So the first game that we have, Team Solo Mid, TSM versus the Evil Geniuses, EG. We said it yesterday. This TSM plus 265 is a fantastic bet. CLG has gone down from plus 115 to plus 105. That's definitely where I'm at. We've talked about a lot of these different spots, but as of yesterday, when we discussed these type of things, we did not have the pricing. The slate was not released for DFS. And again, just like the LEC, I don't have the projections. I'll have those out to everybody tomorrow. If you want them, they'll be updated, and hopefully they have every player. For some reason, for some reason they can add Summit, but they can't have Flacked or Targamas, and it just doesn't make any sense with Fantasy Labs here. But Summit and C9, the highest priced team going against Golden Guardians.
I got minus 600.
Minus what do you have minus 600?
C9.
Yeah, minus 525 is what they have it on Bovada. Yeah, but so they're the highest priced team. I don't know what's going to fit with them. For me, looking at this, there are a couple teams that I want to play. I want to play, given the pricing. I think CLG is just priced way too low in a kind of a coin flip matchup against FlyQuest. I think FlyQuest is interesting against CLG. I think both of these teams are going to end up being relatively inty teams that are going to give up a lot of kills. And so I want the other side of it. And I don't think that either side of this game are going to be extremely high owned, but I mean, maybe you're pairing one of these two teams with a Cloud9, with a Team Liquid, with a TSM or Evil Geniuses. But TSM is super cheap too. Tactical is almost one of the least expensive, or he is really the least expensive ADC outside of Lost. So I don't know. What's your take on this? We don't need your LEC takes. We don't need you to tell us Astralis because God knows that has not been
So bad.
very good for us.
I was messaging Kev in the chat. They were up like 7-2, and I'm like, oh, finally they're gonna win a game. And then I had to do some private chats. So like, and then they still blow it. And then I still can't hit in the 44s. So like I had SK in the 44s and still couldn't even. I don't get what's going on in LEC some days. And then I apparently have G2 paired with Mad. So that was a little rough. But I don't know. Is it hard to like? I think for me, like I want to compare like 100 Thieves to kind of like Rogue. Really, like they probably win tomorrow. Like I think they're a better team than Team Liquid. Don't you? Well, I mean it's a short line. It's not like it's a big one, but I can't see there's not value in 100 Thieves.
No, absolutely. There is value. I mean, I think you can bet the 100 Thieves at plus 135. Some of this is coming from the lock-in tournament where Team Liquid just won and 100 Thieves was knocked out in the quarterfinals. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, this 100 Thieves team isn't capable of beating Team Liquid in a best of one. They are returning everything. I would suspect that if we do see one of these Enchanter top with Smite situations, it is going to be 100 Thieves that are going to run it. And I think that might be a interesting way to play against Whippo, who has been utilized as a carry on Team Liquid throughout the lock-in, and kind of offset any kind of advantages he could have in lane. I posted in the Discord a screenshot of Sumday's recent solo queue performance and what he's been playing, and he's been playing the Enchanter's top. He's been playing Janna, Karma with the Smite. So, we said we didn't expect to see it in the LEC, and maybe we wouldn't need to expect it in the LCS, but I have a feeling it's going to pop in tomorrow. I think we might see it one or two times between the two leagues.
Is there a way to like you can kind of put Evil Geniuses with 100 Thieves tomorrow? Can you not?
Yeah, I'm sure you could. So 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, like let's say we want to do like I don't know, let's go with the JoJo Captain. Let's go Someday, Inspired. Let's go Abadage, Danny. Got Vulcan, and that leaves us 6,000. Yeah, I mean, super easy.
I don't know. That kind of. I just wonder how much TSM will kind of push, right? Like, again, they're not like. Is it going to be like an 8-1 game? At 20 minutes in again, or are they going to be able to at least, put up 15 to 20 kills? Like, I don't know if that game gets that close. Like obviously the closer the game stay, the more team fighting there is, right?
So. Yeah, but you have to remember too what you're going to see with what you're going to see with TSM is you're going to see and I guess they don't have the new support there, but like this is a different team. This isn't the same TSM team that you're used to from last year. This isn't the same TSM team that you saw in lock-in. They're going to have their LDL imports over in, and when you look at the way that the LDL plays, it's a faster paced game than even what you see in the LPL. So
they have Huni invite. Like who's going to start in top for them tomorrow?
It's going to be Huni. It's going to be Spica, Keadu, Tactical, and then Shanji.
Okay, yeah, so they do have some guys.
Yeah, no, look, this is going to be a faster-paced game. This is going to be one that you want to kind of circle on. And they made this – we discussed this yesterday. So why do they put the best games first? And the real reason is because they want the European crowd to be able to watch those games before they go to sleep. And that's why they've got something like Dignitas and Immortals at the end. When it comes to this slate, though, I think that this game is there are several games here that could be absolute game breakers. When we're looking at it, you have this first game where you have TSM versus Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses have shown that they're a faster, up-tempo team that likes to be all over the map, try and make plays. Now, TSM may answer those, and if TSM is able to do so, they may be the highest scoring. If Evil Genius is able to assert their will, then they are going to be the highest scoring. We've seen that this CLG team versus FlyQuest, both of these teams have shown that they can, be kind of feeders And then, Team Liquid with Bwipo has shown that they can do a lot of kills. And then at the end of it, like this Immortal team has looked bad. Dignitas can put up some skill or some kills with River, with Neo. I think that this slate is completely wide open, and it absolutely is a travesty that we only have 3K to first because we don't have a lot of combos. So you're going to have to stake your flag somewhere and, plan it with a point of conviction.
Is it worth to stick in a TSM one-off on this one? Or is it probably better off just to go 4-3 or depending, like if you think it's going to be a high-scoring game, do you get some values going EG and C9 and maybe one-offing somebody from TSM?
Well, no. I mean, if you're going EG and C9 and then one, no. I don't think you need to stack one player from the same team, man, or the same game.
Can you fit C9 and EG with an ADC or no?
Not with an ADC, no.
So can you if you one off TSM or one off another? Like, is it better?
Why you're not going to one off TSM? They're in the same game, man. You're going to be.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to say. But if it is a game that's close, but you're saying it's not going to be like 2018 or something. You think it's either going to be like what do you anticipate the score to be? They're probably what -5 or 6 at least.
Yeah, well, look, so the total on that game, they don't even have it out, but I think it's probably around a 24 to 26. I mean, it's not going to be any different than most. But I just think that there's a volatility factor that this game could be a high-scoring game. No, you can't really stack anything with EG and C9. There's almost nothing that you can do with that. In terms of TL, I don't know. I mean, we could probably find out, but I would imagine it's Bwipo, it's Santorin, Bjergsen, and then I'm guessing that they probably start the season with Hansama. That would be my guess, especially against a team like 100 Thieves. If what we saw in the lock-in is the case, maybe that they run out that lineup against some of the better teams. But if they're playing a team like Dig, a team like the Immortals, CLG, FlyQuest, maybe that they run out the core JJ version of that game.
So that's the other thing. Like, how do you? I guess you just got to take risks again, right? Like, here's spell again. I'll play it. If I have extra dough, I probably would.
No. Capping.
Well, like the other day, like the showdown, we went with Darshan, right? Darshan was the one that kind of helped me make that one, the showdown slate, right? Like, so I don't know if it's better to go back to like Seal. I don't think they're that bad of a team, right? Like you've been on them too. From Cloud9, right? Like,
well, look who decided to join. It's the Russian Bear. What's going on, Moose? Good morning.
He didn't get the memo.
What's up?
Well, he just woke up and he probably got something to eat. Didn't want to do that on stream again. He didn't want to get muted. So,
he's hiding.
Yeah, guys. You guys like Naked
Inspector
Cats?
Gadget with the cats.
Dude, I swear it's like he knows when I'm live. He always participates when I'm live. Like whenever I'm on a meeting or anything, he's always there. I don't know how they do it. It's like they can tell or some shit. But yeah, I thought the show was called The Shark Cove. Why we got Googs here?
Like, hey, you gotta chum up the water sometimes, man. Sharks need to eat.
I thought I did all right in the last week.
Oh, you're killing it?
I thought I had some decent results.
Well,
yeah.
look, he got everybody paid in the COD tournament.
Yeah, let's go over that for a second.
So
who's that person?
That's the drunk PK intern.
I didn't even know what was going on. I saw that you wrote a message and then I had to double click it again. I didn't even realize how Twitter works sometimes.
So I don't know if you've seen this, Moose, but we've got the DK drunk intern. It's updates from the men and women behind DraftKings live scoring. So these are the people that score everything for us. And so, I went ahead and I said this. I was like, when are you guys going to add the stats from the second game for COD? The slate's been over for a bit. Are you okay? Said it's Friday night right here on the East Coast. Just hang out. Officially, there's a day with a delay with our stat providers, yada yada. And then, Goose kind of went off, man. He's like, are you fucking serious? Pay the people their money. Find a stats provider that works. And boom, just like that, it just got updated. This man has some powers.
I didn't even know what I was doing at first. I thought we were waiting for the LOL because I was still waiting for a payout from the LEC. So I was like, So that's what I thought you guys were talking about. So I didn't even know there was a Call of Duty thing there.
Yeah, I was talking about the Call of Duty thing, but
Huh.
Moose, what we're talking about the LCS. You missed the LEC. It's okay. We kind of talked about it. We talked about the LCS yesterday. We talked about where we want to bet, some of those different things. But what we didn't talk about is kind of the pricing and how these teams are going to fit together. On the screen, you can see they have C9 priced super high. Do you have any thoughts on this? I mean, C9 and Evil Geniuses, you can't play them together, but almost any other combo you really can.
Okay, so you can play C9 TL
Yes.
or C9 EG.
C9 EG you cannot.
I think you can play C9 and TL.
Let's see. I doubt that you can do it with a. Let's see. Actually, you know what? I can do this. Let's go here. Let's take out top. Let's just do it like this. Let's apply this. Actually, settings. 90. Good. Actually, you know what? Let's change that. Let's change that to like 50. It's fine. Optimizer. Let's go ahead. C9 TL.
Nothing.
Oh no, I'm putting it in. You can get 2 jungle captain combinations.
Okay. Yeah. So you're probably gonna want to grab something like maybe like a CLG C9 if you're gonna play C9, but it feels kind of dumb to play C9 at that price because I don't know if they're gonna perform up to like that price. But if they do, I mean, do Golden Guardians like give up a lot of points or something? Like
we don't really know. I mean, that's the reality of it. I think I would be more interested in if I'm playing C9 or Evil Geniuses or Team Liquid, taking a shot and trying to pair it with like a CLG, with a FlyQuest, with a Dignitas. I mean, all of these teams you can do it, and you can with CLG you can get all the different types of captains. This you're looking at River, you're looking at Mid, Inspired. You can get just about anything that you want. I mean, I know it's mid captains, ADC captains, everything. Like it's there. It's there if you want it. You just have to reach out and take it. So I don't know why you need to try and stick together C9 and Evil Geniuses. They are the 2 biggest favorites on the slate. But, from a cash perspective, I'm not even sure that I want to play EG over TSM. I think C9 is fine, but maybe play something with CLG or Dignitas. I mean, talking cash, I think this is probably
even Fly is favorite tomorrow, not by much, and I don't think Fly is any better than Seal. Or you know what I mean? Like Fly is not that much better, if better than CLG, right?
No, correct. I mean, that's why it's a kind of a toss-up match. That's why you might not want that in cash. I do think that Dignitas is better than Immortals based off of what we've seen. C9 is the biggest favorite on the slate. I think that this is your combination in cash, C9 and Dignitas. You've got 6 different options here that you can build from. Probably where I would go. So.
Remember last week we were just talking about how do you fit like ADCs in, right? But again, if they don't win, it doesn't matter. So,
well, look, ADCs that's fine if we're looking at a high upside in a kind of a GPP. So, but when we're talking about cash games, if you're playing double ups, you're playing head to head, you're playing, even some winner take alls. I mean, you don't have to play them like a cash game. Your whole goal is to get a median score, and so you just want all of your guys to win. So you're looking to pick 2 winners. It's almost counterintuitive to not have the highest implied winning team in your cash lineup.
Like this is the only thing I was different from today in that LEC. Like there was only like 3 people that were different in that. That's what I'm saying. So if you play, I don't know, I just try to find a way to always put an ADC there, but that means either one-offing somebody who doesn't do well, or I don't know, like Carzy. I guess Caps outplayed Carzy. Like either, I don't know. Do you want to go double? Like how popular is double jungle going to be between C9 and EG tomorrow?
You can't get double jungle.
Can't fit him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so when you look at this, there are different things that you can look at. When we're talking about GPPs, you're absolutely okay to venture away, and you don't want the two biggest favorites. And when you do that, and you go to these smaller favorites like a CLG, like a Dignitas, I mean, even more like a coin flipping match like the 100 Thieves and Team Liquid. Yes, you are looking to get a mid captain, an ADC captain, or in some cases a jungle captain. But when we're talking about a cash game, we want teams that we feel really good about winning. And while I think that Evil Geniuses have huge odds here, they're one of the highest total favorites. I think that has a lot to do with their recent performance. And we don't know what TSM is going to look like. These guys are highly touted prospects. They're imports from another country, a country that tends to be a little bit better at playing this game than the one that they'll be playing in.
So would you take him on the money line? Would you take him on the money line?
Who?
TSM.
Yes, I absolutely am.
Okay. Plus, what do you? I have at 3, I think.
At 265. I just threw another bet on it. I don't know. I might have bet it yesterday. But I know I have it in some parlays. But yeah, I think they're a very live dog to win in it. Plus 265, I would take almost anybody except for Astralis, as I mentioned earlier, who's plus 400. I have no interest in Astralis tomorrow, even at plus 400 against Fatality. But a team like TSM, especially given the hype that surrounds these players, yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and take them.
I'm just looking at like a C9. What do you think of Fudge Captain tomorrow?
Nothing wrong with a Fudge Captain. What team do you want to pair him with? I mean,
I'm just trying to look to pair him with CLG.
Oh yeah, I mean, so here's the thing though. If you're pairing him with CLG, when you look at the captain, you're not just looking at the captain position. You're looking at who you're going to pair the captain with. So in the case of Fudge Captain, that means that you are absolutely paying for a Palaflox captain. Whereas if you went with like a Berserker or a Luger, you're getting them. And I would think that you'd want a Luger. Like I want Luger if I'm playing CLG. He's going to be the guy that they're going to play through. He's the guy that they're going to funnel resources. He's going to be their highest scoring player on most slates. Palafox, sure, but I don't know if Fudge is going to be the highest scoring player on C9. So I don't know if it's going to be Berserker. So I would rather prioritize Berserker as the captain. That way I can get Luger in on the small stack, or vice versa. I can play with Luger as my captain, and then I get Berserker on my small stack.
I see what you're saying. Why do they still have Zen the most priced? Like, why don't they remove? Like, is Berserker just going to start all the time? I guess.
Yeah, but they keep people in the player pool just in the off chance that somebody ends up playing. They don't have to add them or don't have them in the slate. Do you have a little accident there, Moose? You spill a little something?
Spill something.
Can I ask you a question? I want to ask you, how important is pairing your captain with the support if it's like an ADC?
It's not.
It's not, because sometimes I'm like, well, if I pair if the ADC does well, that generally means that the support does well, right?
No, I mean, I don't think that there's a strong enough correlation, and I think that people believe that, and so but I mean, if you have an ADC captain, you're playing one of the two supports with their ADC. But if you're playing mid captain, you can play the ADC and the support being different. Sometimes it's just a matter of what fits, and sometimes it's a matter of like the support and what they play. I don't really give it that much thought. I'll be honest with you.
You can go Berserker, Darshan, Blabber, Fudge.
Darshan's not playing.
Oh, he's not?
No.
So how do I not know this stuff?
I don't know. You sit in the chat all the time. How do you not know? How does this not rub off on you? Yeah.
All right. So you can go. Then you can go Summit, Blabber, Fudge, Luger, and Poon, and then CLG in the team slot. And that fits.
Who's your captain?
Berserker.
Okay.
That's to get Luger in, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look,
but that's
you're going to be able to pair anybody with CLG. They're just going to be cheap. Like anybody from these 4 games right here are going to be cheap enough that you can pair them with anybody.
I like CLG, and I think you pretty much just play CLG C9 in cash, or you add like Dignitas and you're done.
Yeah, I mean, well, so in cash, I think that you go one of two ways. You play C9, and then you can either play like Dignitas, which I feel is like the safest game outside of like maybe EG. I think you can play EG too, but I guess I'm a little higher on EG than what these odds indicate. And so I'd rather just take the minus 155 with Dignitas, who I think looks good and is sure to disappoint. I mean, nothing can go wrong playing Dignitas cash.
I see nothing wrong with it. They're a great team. I mean, we know how Immortals are going to do tomorrow. So
I mean, I think the big thing is in the past, I think a lot of people have been burned by Dignitas and Cash, myself being one of them. But I think there is a river difference, and so I feel pretty good there. What are you doing, Gugs? Just making a racket with.
Yeah, I know. I got some Nashville hot chips.
Oh man,
I don't know if they're any good, but whatever. I already devoured the bag, so what difference does it make at this point?
how do you not know if it's good?
They're okay. I'm just craving something. I don't know what it is right now.
Okay. Let's you know, if you're gonna eat the chips, maybe you should mute yourself. You're super loud eating the chips.
Oh, sorry.
This X2 guy is pretty good, or what?
For
Seems
what?
pretty good. Like just playing him.
Who?
XU?
No, he plays on the Academy roster.
Oh, why do they have him in here?
I mean, because he played in the first.
Oh, because it's River. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Like,
So no, he is good though. He's good. But yeah, no, it's like it's River. I mean, there are a couple combinations. It's what I'm going to run. It's Cloud9 versus Dignitas, or Cloud9 and Dignitas. Those are the two that I'm running in cash. I think from a GPP perspective, you know, you're all over the board here. I think TSM is super interesting. I think TSM's interesting in winner take alls. I do feel that most people will be playing EG. And then I just, you know, I think 100 Thieves is the other team in GPPs that gives you a ton of leverage because a lot of people are going to play, you know, Team Liquid. It's just weird. Like, do you think that there is a bias that people have towards 100 Thieves in terms of being like an organization that a lot of people like, so they're going to play?
Yeah, I think people are gonna like really, really, really suck off C9. I mean, C9 is just hard chalk.
Yeah, but what about 100 Thieves though? I mean, like how do you think that they're going to be perceived? They're super cheap.
Yeah, they're very cheap for how well they're gonna be doing.
Do you think this is like that? You remember the other day? What was it last week? Where Rogue was like the slight underdog when they went out and smashed anyways. Yeah, I think it was who were they? Small dog Fnatic was it last weekend? Was it or the week before?
Yeah, I mean, okay.
They're like the same spot.
Well,
so like they're a better team, I think. Like at the end, like we were talking about, was Rogue a better team than I think it was Mad Lions that game or something.
I think that the 100 Thieves Team Liquid's a little closer. I think I give the edge maybe to Team Liquid. It's not like what the betting odds indicate, but it's not clear cut one team is better than the others.
That's what I mean. So if you're going to get that price with FB or sorry with 100 Thieves, you should probably take it, right? Especially with their player pricing.
I mean, look, to be fair, Spell, this has been a eating show. Apparently I need to bring food on. Everybody eats on the show. Gooks did find the absolute loudest fucking shit to eat. Not just when you're eating it, Gooks, but when you go into that bag, dude, it is.
It's probably because the earbuds. If the speaker's probably so close to my mouth. We got to do the pizza next week. I got to do that.
It's a bag of chips, my friend. It's going to be loud. It's super loud.
Spell's a dick.
Yeah, here you go. Why don't you get some celery sticks? Oh, man.
Fucking rabbit over here.
Oh, my God.
All right. Well, so I think that kind of covers it. I mean, like, hey, this has been a super low energy Friday night. I'm not drinking personally, so like I don't have the energy to be rambunctious. We've gone over a lot of this different stuff, but I am going to take us in one slightly different direction because I do think that Sunday morning, I have this feeling and maybe I'm wrong, but I think we might get a CBLOL slate. So I want to just go ahead and take a look ahead at CBLOL. Huh?
Rangers?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're
Where's it FL? Like, whatever they're called.
Before
So
the Super Bowl?
no. We've got
Super
so
Bowl's
we've
the
got
week after.
Oh shit!
Super
Yeah,
Bowl's no.
Super Bowl's
So-
not this week.
No,
No.
13th or something.
So we've got a couple games here. So, these are just at least for tomorrow. If you want to get onto Bovada, you want to bet them. I know, Moose, you do that sometimes. There's a little hair on my hat here that I'm trying to get off. Netshoes Miners against Red Candace. And like all of these games too do have wonderful over-unders. So like 29.5. It's just a bloody league. When it comes to the Netshoes Miners, they have been a fantastic team. Red Candace has been all right. They're both 3-1. I will say this, the Miners have some of my favorite players in this league, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to throw a little wager on the Netshoes Miners for $100 there.
Man, the Miners is a terrible name for a team. Let me tell you, like, you cannot have a team called the Miners.
It's the Netshoes Miners.
You can't call a team the Miners, dude. That just sounds so wrong. All right, we're betting the Miners.
We're betting the Miners. Then we've got Loud and we've got Ints, and like, man, I don't think I like Ints at all here.
Loud's pretty good though, where they were.
Well, Loud's 2-2. Ints is 1-3. Ints only game came against Flamingo, who looks like they're going to be the bottom team in the league. They're 0-4. I think that this is kind of unbettable at that amount. I would venture to guess that this is going to be a 29, 28. I think you could take the under here if you want to make a bet, but like we'll stay away from that. Furia and then Renska. I have a lot of futures on Renska, but Furia has looked like one of the better teams. I still think that this 400. Is. Yeah, I think I'm still going to take like a half unit wager here on Renska just because why not?
Why don't they don't offer this slate every week? Like, why not just offer it? What do they have to lose? Just somebody not scoring the games?
Well, no, it's not filling out. If they don't fill it out, then
because of football, I guess.
Well, so they don't run it Saturday morning because you're playing LEC, so they're not going to run two against each other, and that's why they play it Sunday mornings when the LEC is not playing in season.
But today, would it have filled with the LEC being already full? Like,
well, they don't play on Fridays. They play Saturday, Sunday in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sorry. Okay. So tomorrow they will fill probably.
Yeah, well, the LEC is, but this is not. You're not going to be able to bet this in DFS. You're going to be, or you just have to bet it if you're going to bet it.
You don't think Sunday they'll put on a slate? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday they might. But Kaboom versus Liberty. Kaboom's been pretty good. Liberty's been pretty good. Toss up. I don't know if I want to take either of those. And then I think you can take Pain, and you can even lay the 2.5, like 2.8 units to win one. It's tough to do that in the CBLOL, but I think you can do it if you
do you guys watch this in Portuguese or no? Do you watch it in the Brazilian cast?
I used to when it was the only thing on, but I usually actually it is. It's exciting, but I usually just put it on my second TV, and that TV's muted. So I've got the LEC or the LCS in one. That one's muted. If I'm playing a soccer game. It is, and that's kind of like what the LFL was like if you watch the French cast. As opposed to the the English class. I mean, do you know French? You're from Canada. You should know how to speak French, right?
Parlez-vous au français avec moi, s'il vous plaît? A little bit, not too much.
I got you.
We're forced to learn French from grade 3 to grade 9.
My girl is a stickler for like pronunciation and shit. She would destroy it right now.
Probably. No, I took it for half hour a day for 6 years.
Wow.
You have to. It's like mandatory in Canada to take French.
The minors. That's what you took. All right. Before you go, can you walk me through the LEC slate tomorrow?
Yeah. What for DFS?
Yes, sir. Or betting, both.
DFS, I think the one spot that I feel the best about is obviously Misfits over SK. SK is absolute trash. Misfits look good. Tough loss, but they're super cheap. Astralis probably is going to lose to Vitality, but Vitality's uber expensive and haven't scored very well. So I think kind of your strategy is this: is you can play one side in a GPP of Rogue or G2. You can take a stab at that and then pair them with like Misfits, or if you feel good about like the Mad Lions, you could probably play them because they're playing BDS. But I am going to bet BDS, and I think that they're a good GPP play. But Cash really feels like it's like Misfits and Fnatic, or Misfits and Vitality.
Yeah, Misfits Vitality for sure for Cash.
What's the deal with BDS? Are they supposed to be bad this year? Because they were a small dog today. They weren't like that big of a dog in their game.
They suck.
They're not super good, but they did play better today. And I mean, against Mad Lions, you said it. Are they good, right?
But again, is Mad Lions that good this year too? Like you saw what happened today.
No, Mad Lions is butt cheeks.
Yeah, so you can go Vitality if you go like a Vitality or Vitality Misfits with like a Misfits captain 4-3. You can do that easy, and if you can do it with Vitality, you can do it with FNC. You can do it with Mad Lions. But I think these are your three teams in Cash.
You don't think Astralis worth it in GPP again?
The Australias.
They gotta win one game, don't they?
Yeah, I mean they probably, but I don't think against Vitality is the game.
They will win a game for sure. They definitely have what it takes. They just because like today they didn't lose to the team. They lost to themselves.
Well, why did they? So this was the thing. I wasn't really watching. I was taking a shower. But like I was messaging Kev, and I'm like, they're already up 7-2. But the line was like they were up 2K gold, and they were up 7-2. But yet they were still like a pick 'em. And then it kind of went to like minus 300 for them, and then they just stopped going to get dragons. Like they didn't get any dragons. I don't know why. Maybe you can tell me if you guys were watching the strategy wise. But they were up almost 5 kills and a couple K gold, and they just gave up. It looked like the first 2 dragons.
Well, okay, so I don't remember I don't know if they got the first dragon or not, but like so
They didn't
a lot
get
of
any.
teams,
They didn't get the first or second dragon.
so if they didn't get the first dragon, and I don't recall exactly what happened in the game, but a lot of teams won't necessarily prioritize the first dragon if they can in turn get the first herald. The herald's going to give you more gold because it's going to in turn give you more map presence in the sense that you're going to knock down a few plates, maybe get a first tower, and like accelerate the gold into maybe one of your carries. And so teams would rather have that first herald than the first dragon. Now, there was a dragon fight when Astralis came in, but they got hit with like a 3-person shockwave from Oriana and absolutely shifted that entire team fight and pretty much the game. So when you look at like the way that this Astralis composition like kind of works, like first of all,
you should see my water bill spell. I can't type in the chat for some reason. At least 45 minutes.
But when you look at this team, Gugs, and you think about how all of these champions work, with the exception of Senna, they all got to get in, right? They've got to all get in where you've got a little bit of range here. Oriana doesn't have like wonderful range, but Gen X and the Jax, or not the Jax, the Jace, has a little bit of range. But when they all come in, now you hit the Oriana, you hit it with a shockwave. They're all there, boom, mega damage, and that's kind of what happened. So.
Right,
and they didn't know what to do with a lead, basically. So
yeah, but you would think they would try to like snowball and just because I was just watching on my phone. I'm like, man, they're killing them. And then I'm like, why wouldn't they go for the first dragon? And then I remember somebody posted in the chat, why go for a dragon if you can just fight, right? But maybe you could tell me this: is it worth? You notice some teams who don't pick up the first dragon, they'll try to stop the soul, so they don't really care about the second and third dragon, and they'll just have to fight for the soul, right? Like they'll go out and try to stop them from getting the 4th dragon.
Do you understand why that is?
Well, I mean, if you get the 4, then you get I don't know what soul. It's either Cloud or what's the other one? Is there 2 or 3 now?
There's 5.
Oh, okay.
Technically 6. But yes, when you get that 4th dragon, you get a permanent mega buff based on the dragon. Like each dragon is going to give your team a small, little, tiny buff. But when you get 4 of them, you get a much stronger buff. And so different souls are going to be more impactful. Like for the Infernal Soul, it gives you like a burn when you hit guys. And so it's a little bit, a little bit more damage, especially with like poke comps that are trying to whittle the team down from a distance before they engage. Champions like your Victor, like your Jace, even like a Jinx operates well with that, whereas like a Cloud Soul does help with ultimate cooldown reduction, but primarily is a move speed buff, and that's why you end up seeing teams not prioritize that as much because it's not as impactful. You get healing from the Ocean Soul.
I think Goog's heard you talk about touching men and it burns, and,
Yeah.
and he decided to go.
No, I hit the space bar for some reason and it logged me out for some reason.
You can. It's okay.
Well, and then I had to listen to it on YouTube for some reason.
Oh,
But
man.
Even worse. That's even worse.
but I get
So-
it. So like some teams will they don't care if they don't get the first one, they might not even play until the third one.
Well, so the other part of it though is you have to understand when your team like spikes, when they're strong and when they can fight. You'll see situations where teams like, why are you going to fight here and fall so far behind when you don't necessarily need to? Why not spend another 5 minutes, try and get a pick or two? At worst, go into the next dragon fight, like still on equal footing. But as the game goes on, there are certain champions that fall off. There are certain champions that get better. Certain champions need more time. So like a champion,
Like
let's say
Aphelios.
like an Aphelios, like a Jinx, like a Corki. Some of these need 2, sometimes 3 items before they're, really impactful in a fight. So they want to farm, they want to get that money, they want to get that before they go into the fight. Whereas there are certain champions that kind of fall off like later, like a kind of a Renekton, for example. It's the big knock on Renekton is that if you get into the super late game, he's not nearly as useful as he is in the early and the mid game. He still is useful, but not in the same manner. I mean, he becomes a kind of glorified, I guess, a glorified Nautilus with less engage and tiny bit more damage.
So so maybe you can answer this then. Does getting a single dragon even matter? Like, does it have any power without?
It does, but not anything that's significant enough.
Even if you have
More
3
so-
dragons, say you get the first 3 dragons and you don't get the soul, are those 3 dragons just useless?
No, they're
Right.
useful. They each give a buff, but it's more so just like even if you have a single dragon, then you prevent the team's win condition by like 6 minutes. So
Oh.
basically, like if you just get one, and your entire strategy is about scaling a champ like Jinx or Aphelios, then you're pretty much just like you're time rugging the other team if they have like a dragon plan,
Yeah,
So-
you know what? I've never understood why certain teams that don't that have that absolute scaling, this is a team that wants to get to the ultra late game, why they don't at the very least prioritize getting the first dragon. Because I mean, unless they're significantly weaker at that like level 4 to 6 range when you're going for that first dragon, I think you can get it in the 5 to 7 minute mark. You can probably get it uncontested. And even getting that first dragon gives you an additional at least 15 more, 20 more minutes to scale your composition. Even if you can't get any other dragons because you got the first one, as opposed to having to fight at 20 minutes when your composition's probably not ready. But what do I know?
From what I understand, it's all about.
Scoots. You're super loud, bud.
Sorry.
From what I understand, it's all about like the jungler and the team being like positioned correctly to spin that time range to basically not allow ganks and to force ganks. So they're like always on edge in that time period because everything they do from minute 1 to like minute 10 is like completely orchestrated because it's been practiced so much. Like every single CS that like a person gets at this point, every single back they press or every single gold calculation is already like calculated, like they know exactly what they're doing until 6. So basically like when they're doing this like whole run around thing, they're like everything is like so intense and precise in that first start of the game because it makes such a big difference if something goes wrong that they don't really prioritize dragon and more so just focus on map advantage and ganks.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that you can plan that out. Like that can be like, so you're right. Like the first 6 minutes, is kind of like the first 15 plays that are scripted in a football game. Certain things are going to kind of depend on what you're going to do based off of the draft, based off the enemy composition. But yeah, they know what they're going to do. They know what they're going to do in terms of the pathing, and they know what they're going to do if certain things happen. But what I'm saying is, if you have a composition that wants to scale to that 25 3-item mark, why not in that first 15 plays, the first 6-7 levels, go get a dragon? Like, prioritize it, because it's just going to get you there, and you're not going to necessarily need to fight ahead of that before you're ready. I mean, you might seed 2 or 3 dragons, but if you think back to the last time that we were in one of these like ultra scaling metas, which I know it was spring, maybe it was spring last year in 2021, where it's like a heavy Aphelios, or maybe it was even back in 2020. I just distinctly remember it's like, everybody would prioritize Aphelios, and it'd be like, it doesn't matter. The other team, like, they can get a couple of dragons. It doesn't matter. We got Aphelios. We're going to scale, and you just get him to three items, and he's just going to take over the game when he was even stronger than he was right now. And so that's the same time frame where I was like, man, if you just take a dragon, you almost guarantee yourself by the time that you're fighting for the soul at that point, which is 25-30 minutes, or it would be like the 25-minute mark, that you're pretty much there. You're ready to fight. So just never understood that, but I'm sure that there's another reason. But I think that's kind of it. You guys have anything else?
What time do you think this LEC is going to fill up by?
Probably by 8-9 Eastern. So I would reserve all your entries tonight.
Yeah, it's small slate. The 180 single entry with 37 people sounds like the dumbest tournament ever, though.
Why don't they ever? Why don't they so? Today I played in that 3-3-3 for CS:GO. Like, why don't they wait to why don't they run those every other day or run those way more often than what they do?
I don't know. Because they're stupid, dude. This is just stupid. Like I don't
do
even
they
want to.
not
I don't even want to play it. Like, I don't even want to play a 180 single entry. Like, I'm gonna play it because it's $180. but like, I don't want to play it. It's like, just give me the 3-3-3.
So what you run into is with the 3-3-3, it opens them up to a considerable amount of risk in terms of if it doesn't fill. The other thing that you run into is that, like, I think that, and I don't know if this is just like, if this is built into some type of regulation or this is what it is, but typically you can't have more than 3% of the entries on a particular contest. And so you can't do like, you can't do like a 2. I mean, obviously there are ones that are smaller, so you obviously have more than that, but like that GPP, you're a single entry, but you're like 32. If you had 2 on a 50, you're at 4% of the entries, I think. All right, I'm doing the math right. So I wonder if you can't do something like that. I don't know. Like, I don't get it. I think that you could have something that's between the 3-3-3 and between the 180. You could have some type of, like, I don't know, if you're afraid that's going to fill because of the pricing, like, you could do 152 entry max, right? And you could still do like a $3,000 or $4,000 to first place. And anybody that's entering the 180 would enter 360. You're not stopping at $180 saying I'm not going to put in a second one for $180.
Well, look at today, the 3-3-3 today in the CS:GO. You had a lot of people max at 3 entries. So it wasn't like, you're not getting 100. Excuse me, you're not getting 100. You're not getting 100 entries. You're getting maybe 60 entries, if that, not even, maybe 40 entries.
Well, the 3-3-3 today was 70 entries. Yeah, I have seen the new alt, and it looks absolutely terrible. Have you seen it, Moose?
Oh, what is it?
So it sends a wave similar to like a Nami wave, right? And if it hits the enemy, they all go crazy and they start fighting each other with auto attacks.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in. Sign me up.
Hang on, let me see it. Here it is. Watch.
What?
So it prioritizes fighting each other.
That's broken.
It's a support champion too, by the way.
That's gonna be broken.
Do they come up with new people all the time? Like, when's the last time they added characters or champions, whatever you want to call them?
They add a couple every like a few months, every month.
Oh,
I think
really?
you can just
Who's
run
the
it from
newest
there.
now?
Ziri, we saw it in the Fnatic game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, super broken. Super broken.
All right,
Yeah.
so briefly again, let's just go over your plays for GPP tomorrow for LEC before I get out of here.
We saw Ziri today. I think that teams are going to ban her quite a bit, but I think she might sneak through. I think we're more likely to see the Enchanter Smite top than we are Ziri. I don't know if you saw like this clip here. Hang on, Darshan Ziri clip. So check this one out. This is what Ziri can do. Watch the move speed.
Wow. Is that not broken?
She's insane, dude. Like she's nutty. Like it's really hard to beat her.
So then, what will they do? They'll just make a patch that kind of
they'll something like that. But okay, so plays going into it when we're looking at plays again, like Cash, Misfits, Fnatic, Vitality. I do think that this BDS Mad Lions game is super juicy for GPPs, and then there's no doubt that this Rogue G2. But I tend to believe that Rogue
Rogue's just gonna put him away, dude. There's no way.
In terms of the
defeated.
Yes, and then LCS is going to be, pick one of these two teams to go with. I think both of the. I don't know, man. It's just wide open, dude. I think every one of these games has the potential of being absolutely terrible, and every one of them has an absolute kind of fiesta possibility. So maybe I'm overhyping that because it's the LCS, and it's surely not going to be what I think. But I definitely think Dig can score really well. I think CLG can score really well. I think both of these teams can score really well. And then C9 should probably roll Golden Guardians. I really, if I'm building GPP lineups, which I will be, probably like CLG and FlyQuest, Dig, Immortals. These are going to be combos that I'm going to run, and I'm just going to stay away from all these big teams. But then the next game that I prioritize is Evil Geniuses and TSM.
It's a big weekend. NASCAR's back too. MMA tomorrow.
Yeah, another CS:GO 3-game slate. There's tons going on.
I'm already in 4 different. Tomorrow I'm in the 33. I think I have maybe 5 or 6 entries in the main. I probably put more in before I go to bed.
Do you watch a lot of CS:GO, Emrick?
Cash play, I think Cloud9, Dignitas. The Cloud9 Dignitas are my favorite cash plays. I think you can absolutely play Evil Genius. Those would be kind of the 3 that.
Yeah, Cloud9 Dignitas, and if you want CLG, get CLG.
But you can't play like Evil Geniuses in Cloud9. So I mean, you could pick one or the other. But I think I would be more surprised of Cloud9 losing tomorrow than I would be Evil Geniuses. I think that I bet on TSM. I think TSM can absolutely win that game. So I don't know if I want to play EG given that risk. I think you certainly can. But if I had to pick between one of the two, and you do have to pick between one of the two, I'm going to play Cloud9. So, all right, guys. I mean, that's it. Thanks for coming. This wasn't the crazy hangout stream that we've had recently, but we'll be back next week. Next week will be fantastic. Gugs is going to eat a pizza. We're going to have LPL, LCK. We're gonna have
get some hot sauces. I think Baby's Goat's gonna send me some of that Apollo in the mail.
Awesome.
I already DM'd him my address, so maybe we'll have to put more than one dab on it, but we'll
Gugs
get
is
some.
gonna eat a pizza. Yes.
Maybe we'll order the pizza and we'll tell them to put a lot of jalapenos on there. We'll make it super hot for you. I know it's
Yeah,
cold
like we
there.
do this. We do this cherry pepper pizza. That's pretty good. Like these. You get.
I don't want it to be pretty good. I want it to be really hot.
Yeah, well, then we just put the Apollo on top.
And then we'll get you a milkshake after.
Oh, love them nice and thick, just like my women. All right.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody.